Do you know just how much touch supports your animal's well-being? Today on the Holistic Pet Health Show with me, Dr. Edward, the Healing Vet, we're going to be talking about loving touch, intentional touch, and how that causes a whole lot range of really beautiful health, emotional, social benefits for your animals and for you too. So I'm actually going to show you how to do a particular thing at the end too, in terms of a particular way of using intentional touch that will help you connect more deeply with your animals and help them have a happier, healthier life. So hang out there for there, and love to hear from you in the comments. Please say hi, where you're watching from. If you've got any questions as we go, ask them in the comments and I will answer them as we go. So touch. Loving touch, kind touch, gentle touch is implicitly a really beautifully healing thing to do for your animals. Touch, this simple touch, simple kind touch, before we even start thinking about intentional touch and body work, which can do a whole lot more than just this beautiful connection of natural touch that we do all the time. This touch, when we touch our animals, there's a whole lot of beautiful beneficial hormones that are released in the animal, but also in us, because when we are touching our animals are touching us at the same time. There's a really, really deep connection that is comforting and relaxing and benefits the immune system, supports joy and happiness and peace when you touch your animals. And loving touch also reduces stress hormones like cortisol and adrenaline. So it's stress busting. It supports relaxation and presence. But before we go any further into digging into why touch is so beautiful and helpful and lovely, let's have a look at what the hormones are that are released when you touch your animals. Now, all these hormones, remember, are going to be released in your body as well as your animal's body when you're interacting with them with loving touch. So oxytocin is the most important one, which is like the bonding hormone. It makes your relationship stronger, deeper and wider. It reduces stress. It helps with the formation of emotional memories, reduces addictive behaviors, improves social connection and supports healthy sleep. It also increases generous behaviors, gratitude, empathy and social cohesion. Another hormone that's released with touch is dopamine. Dopamine increases motivation, helps with memory and learning, increases attention and focus. So if you think about these things, you can see how integrating touch into your interactions with your dogs, particularly when you're teaching them or training them, or when you're out and about with them and you want them to be settled and present and sensible, touch can really help with that. Dopamine also modulates the immune system and can reduce inflammation. It's a mood regulator, so it also helps that and can increase bone strength and supports cognitive flexibility. Serotonin is another hormone that is released with touch. That's a mood regulator, increases happiness and is also involved in bone health. But oxytocin is the real most important one out of these hormones. It is the connection hormone, and when you have lots of gentle, loving touch with your animals, that makes your relationship with your animals deeper and stronger. Your bond will get stronger the more you touch your animals. I know that's probably sounds like a bit of a no-brainer. Touch is really calming, and touch, loving touch, kind touch, builds trust and connection. It's proven to reduce cardiovascular stress, and touch also activates the vagus nerve. So what this does is it turns on the parasympathetic nervous system, which is rest and digest, and that down regulates the sympathetic nervous system, which is fight, flight. And we want our animals to be mostly in rest and digest. That is where all the healing and the health and the vitality happens. If the animals are too much in fight, flight, too much high impact, high arousal, too much excitement all the time, it's really not good for your animal's well-being to have that. Now, this is just what science knows about touch. There's a whole lot of, and this is another thing that's come up in science in the last year or two. They've been studying how a person touching another person, and just through a short time of touch, and this is with the person not able to see the person who's doing the touching, they have found that that emotion can be communicated through a very short period of simple touch. The person who is touched can feel and understand what emotion the other person is expressing to them in that touch, whether it be anger, sadness, fear, just like that. So when you are touching your animals, there's also a very deep emotional communication going on, in that they will be feeling what's going on for you in your body, in your emotions. And if you get quiet enough and peaceful enough and open enough, you'll be able to actually feel how your animal's feeling when you touch them in your body. This is a really deep, natural, empathic pathway of communication that touch opens up for you and your animals. The more you touch your animals, the better you know them, and the more they feel you, and the more relaxed and happy everyone in the family becomes. Now, if we get into intentional touch, then you can get a whole lot more beneficial effects. The healing, when you have more intention and you learn how to touch, not just in terms of loving touch, but therapeutic intentional touch, you're going to amplify all of the benefits of loving touch, and you're going to bring in a whole lot more. Now, it's easy to learn how to do this. It's not a hard thing. I have taught well over 1,300 people how to do this sort of work with their animals, and I've heard hundreds and hundreds of beautiful stories of how people's animals have responded to this work. All you need is your two beautiful hands, a loving heart, and a willingness to put some time and effort into learning. Now, I've been working hands-on with animals for 24 years now. And I have seen consistently, again and again and again, that we see animals, when you interact with their body with intentional healing, body work and touch, the animals become happier, more playful, more active, more connected with their humans, and we often see really, really beautiful improvements in anxious and traumatized dogs, in terms of they lose the symptoms of anxiety and trauma and are set free from that. So with intentional touch, what you learn to do is you learn how to read your animal's body with your hands. You learn how to feel into their body and find the tender and tight spots, and find where there's patterns of